he gets asked about experience, and obviously, he gives the quip answer first, which I'd rather have it than not. But the way he answers it, especially when he's talking about his defensive line and his offensive line, he talks about how difficult, it is for true freshmen. And I thought back to Texas A&M, a year ago. Yeah, they had 4 or 5 4-star, 5-star kids right there on the defensive line, but they were all freshmen. And they got pushed around for most of the year. And Mississippi State has Jaden Crumedy is in his 5th year at Mississippi State. Pickering is in his 4th. DeMonte Russell is in, I think, his 5th year, maybe his 6th year. Jordan Davis is in his 3rd year, but he was a JUCO guy, so that's 5 years away from high school for him. Watson and Johnson are 5th or 6th year guys. On the offensive line, Cole Smith, Cam Jones, Lasoya was at Middle Tennessee State for a couple years before he came to Mississippi State. Dollar Bill. I mean, these aren't kids. These are men, 23, 24-year-old guys. And, that makes a difference for Mississippi State. Mississippi State will never have a lineup full of 4- and 5-star guys. But what they can have are teams like this. And obviously COVID plays a role in that. That's why you have so many 5th and 6th year guys. But that's when state teams are going to be at their best, when they have a bunch of juniors and seniors dominating the depth chart. They're never going to be the team that has, a bunch of freshmen that come in and contribute right away. But when a team like this that has this much experience, that's why I'm high on them this year, because they've got so many guys who have just been doing it the past 2-3 years.
Anything for you, Bort?
2 things. The secondary, it seemed a little concerned there, and that's not something new. It's a lot of new faces, and he's generally a pessimist by nature anyway, if you listen to him enough. He's not really happy with anything ever, so maybe there's nothing to read in there, but him pointing out that, if you're not sound in the secondary, I loved the line of, it's the fastest way to lose a football game. Give up an explosive play in the back end of your defense. And
I almost asked him if it was the fastest way to win a football game as well. Just wanted to find out if the inverse was true.
And getting away from the defense that got him the job, essentially. I mean, that was his bread and butter, and that's what he brought to Mississippi State, and the depth and the availability of defensive linemen has him thinking that, maybe I should run some even fronts because I got the guys that can run some even fronts here. That is interesting. Getting away from kind of his bread and butter and evolving. It's not a bad thing. It's coaches evolve. The evolution of Zach Arnett going to an even front, as he called it.
We talk about this a lot. That's the focus of tomorrow's Thunder and Lightning podcast of what does that defense look like if they were to be more of a 4-man front. But the thing I took away was, you think about a year ago, and I hate to make it sound like it's a negative, right? But Mike Leach was married to what he was doing. There was no evolution. There was no, I might need to change things up because of my personnel. It's like, this is what we're going to run come hell or high water. To hear Zach Arnett, you talk about maybe we need to do this, even though he's a Rocky Long 3.35, guy at heart. I don't know if refreshing is the right word because it puts like a negative connotation onto Leach, but it's something. It's something different that Mississippi State fans haven't gotten out of the head coach. Really, you go back even further. I mean, Moorhead was the same way. Moorhead was very much, this is my system. This is what I'm going to do. I don't care if Nick Fitzgerald's running the ball for 8 yards a clip. I'm gonna continue to try to make him a passer. We're not going to change out our personnel. And you see where it got him. So good to hear a head coach talk about being able to adapt.